Leaders, full pairs.
Welcome to Leaders Full Pairs. My name's Kirsty, and today I'm with Richard from Medusa Games.
Hello.
Hi Richard, how are you?
Not too bad, yes.
Good. Con treating you well?
Pretty well, yes. It's nice not to have as much snow this year as there was last year.
Yes, yeah, it was a bit of a disaster last year, wasn't it?
On the Friday. It melted after that. But,
it did.
But that was fun.
So you're currently showcasing the latest prototype of Oranges and Lemons at the moment.
Yes.
How's that been going this weekend?
Pretty well, actually. Yes, it's been our main focus. So we've made use of Aircon's a good game finder system to advertise the fact we've been doing sessions of it, and they've been having takers for pretty much every session, and other people coming by and having a look or asking questions about it, and so it's been helpful to be able to talk about it, and as it's coming along towards the sort of approaching the point where the game mechanics and layout and things is right, and now we're waiting on the art basically to finish it off. But no, it's gone well.
So there's been a few changes since we last caught up with you. With particularly around the edge of the board, I think has changed. Obviously.
Yes, I think beforehand a lot of these other bits which things were happening off on sort of sideboards and various things, and we never quite worked out how. We're never totally happy about that because they're all the various parts of the table. It meant that it spread quite a bit, and it was difficult to do a layout. Whereas actually, eventually, it occurred to us, I think just before Essen, what about some sort of collar around the board or something? And the one we had at Essen was actually twice the width of this, so that made the overall board too big. But eventually, we've managed to set on a size that will fit on a table, and most of the game will be on that board, apart from these sort of player boards. So that now, I think, is coming together as it should be.
It's really nice. It's really lovely.
And the game mechanics and things have evolved a little bit since a year ago. You tweak things, try out different ways of doing things. I think now we're fairly happy with the flow of the turn, the flow of the gameplay, and it just seems to be playing nice and comfortably with under 2 hours, often 90 minutes for 2 to 4 players or so, maybe slightly longer for 5.
So for the audience at home who are maybe new to our channel and don't know what Orange and Lemons is, could you explain a brief outline of the idea behind the game?
It's a worker placement Euro style game. It was all sort of gathering use game based on the nursery rhyme Oranges and Lemons, so the bells of St Clements and so on. Now we all at least British people know the nursery rhyme and can recite the 6 verses or so on, but actually when you dig back into history there are 16 different verses that you can find with a fair amount of effort, and all of these relate to areas of London and the activities that went on there. So we all know about St Clements, the fruit markets, and the meanings of some of the other verses and things there's been lots of debate and lots of analysis and things, and so when you dig into them, a lot of them relate to trade and goods and what happened in them, or activities, and then things like money lending and that sort of thing. So we sat down and looked at all these verses and worked out what they were supposed to mean, and then thought, okay, well that's what we'll use in the game. So it's thematically, therefore it's quite a lot strong theme. This is related to all those areas of London. You are a merchant, and you start off with the capacity to carry just one goods cube here. Which you might consider like a crate of goods. But as the game goes on, you will be releasing a sort of hand cart and a horse and cart and a ship and maybe a warehouse, which gives you larger capacity to carry goods. And you're going to want to do that because you'll be fulfilling contracts at the start of the game. These are contracts for exports from the Stepney docks, so the Bells of Stepney were close to the docks there, and it was so we're exporting goods. At the start of the game, we only need 1 cube, but in the latter part of the game here there'll be multiple cubes will be required for some of these. So therefore, you need more space to carry all the goods, and so. One of the things in the game you'll be doing is getting the cart and the horse and cart and the ship and you'll be buying goods from these resource locations, such as Clements for lemons and fruit, Brickbats and Tiles, so the Bells of St Giles, so that's the stonemasons, Pancakes and Fritters, so the Bells of St Peters, which is the fast food markets of St Peters. So that's you go there to get sort of the orange cubes there, which is basically pancakes, and the black cubes are the kettles and pans, the Bells of St Anne's. And those 4 resources are what you will be buying in the game or picking up in nice cheap markets of Shoreditch, or perhaps coming in inbound on these shipments from the far side of the world, which we're represented by these tiles here. So these will be where you'll be getting your resources from, and you'll be using them for these cargoes. You'll be using them also to increase the number of workers that you have, or just selling them in the St Catherine's markets. You'll be getting involved in money lending business. So you've got your loans here that you will be issuing and getting interest payments back on each turn. You may get involved in the early stock market, which is in the St Jonathan's Coffee House over there. So the stock marketeers were thrown out of the Royal Exchange for being too rowdy, so set up shop in Jonathan's Coffee House. So you have an early elementary stock market with a price going from 1 up to 10. And that is affected by these inbound ships. So each turn, the stock market might go up or down depending on what these figures are. And so you can invest in that, speculate on the stock market. You can back these ships as well. And finally, you can get involved in politics, which are these are the votes. You can buy votes in good 18th century politics, and these vary between 1 and 4, and you draw those, and whoever's got the most votes is Lord Mayor, and that's one of those end game things. So lots of different activities.
Lots to consider there during gameplay.
Yes, but the basic game turn is relatively simple. You'll have a couple of workers at the start. You'll be placing those on locations. Everyone will take it in turns to place them, and then you work around the board, activating those spaces. So it's one of those things which what you're doing in the turn is very simple, but there's lots of choices to be made, and people will initially perhaps latch on to 1 or 2 strategies, and then maybe experiment a bit with different areas as they get used to the game.
So also here this weekend, we also have the expansion for Flying Machines. And you've actually had that available for people to play this weekend as well.
So over here we have a layout done, and in fact what we're seeing here is one of the courses on these. These are what we call the races. So in the game there are these what's called the Great Air Races. There are 25 real historical races that took place, and each of these cards will represent one of those races. I believe the one we've got out here is the sort of one of the aviation meetings at Nice. So you're sort of flying over these sort of Mediterranean towns and across the sea and this sort of thing. So the idea is that this allows you to have scenarios for, rather than just doing a random course with primarily British style terrain or Northern European terrain, this brings in desert and arid conditions, coastal conditions, alpine, the Alps, and other variants to that. A few new pilots and equipment, but the primary part of it is to allow a lot more variety of courses, and also for people to play potentially multiple races that are linked together. So you can just randomly draw one of these and play them, or some of the ones will be a series of ones. And these are individuals, but fine, there we go. So this one is the Paris to Madrid race. This is race 2, that's race 3, there's probably race 1 in there. And what you can do is you can do a whole circuit of Europe, number 1 and then number 2 and so on. So you would play through potentially a whole circuit of races with the same pilot and plane, and obviously tallying up the scores between races, so that sort of allows a bit of a campaign play, basically. That's the idea.
And this is actually available to buy at Aircon this weekend.
It is, yes, it is.
If the audience haven't been able to get to Aircon, how can they purchase this game?
Well, it's on our website.
Okay.
So and usually on Amazon and places like that.
Yeah.
But they can order direct from us on medusa.co.uk. And it'll be on sale at UK Games Expo, as well at our stand there if they're at it. Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Richard. Really appreciate it, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.